Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Magicshine Seemee version 2 Smart Bike Rear Taillight. Although there are a lot of taillights on the market, the Magicshine Seemee 200 has been a very popular model thanks to its unique design. The Seemee 200 not only directs light to the rear of the taillight, but also underneath it with a clever tracer LED. In this review, we're going to be looking at the latest version, the Seemee 200 version 2, which improves the usability as well as the effectiveness of the daytime flash mode, as well as the brake sensing mode. We don't actually have the full retail packaging, so we'll have to do a more basic unboxing, but we do have the basic elements that come with the taillight. So in terms of specs, the taillight has the same $44.99 price that the original one had. You also have 200 lumen output as before, which is quite bright for daytime or nighttime riding. You have that tracer LED, which is what really separates this taillight from others on the market, that illuminates the ground underneath you. You also have 360-degree visibility thanks to that tracer LED, so people can see you from the side, front, or any angle. And this is also a smart taillight, which means you have a brake sensor. So that means it can detect when you're slowing down and trigger the full 200 lumen output mode, as well as an ambient light sensor, which can detect the environment. So that's what controls the taillight, as well as the smart mode. So it automatically switches between daytime and nighttime modes. In terms of what comes with it, again, we don't have the full retail packaging, but we do expect that you'd at least receive these, which is the C-post mount with the miniaturized quarter turn style. And that's something we see with most of the Magicshine lights, so very secure and easy to use. Saddle mount, which is a basic plastic design with that same mount design, as well as zip ties to secure this. You should also expect to get a micro USB charging cable and a user manual. Now let's take a look at the weight of the taillight. So by itself, that comes in at 40 grams, while the C-post mount with its rubber strap comes in at 12, so quite light overall. Visually, the Magicshine Seemee 200 V2 is nearly identical to the original Seemee 200 with a rectangular design and that distinct dome-shaped LED on the bottom. You can see you have a focused LED down on the center. This is the main LED, and this would really improve the long-distance visibility, as it has a very focused beam. You have a cob ring around that, which helps illuminate the sides, and that helps with side visibility and shorter distance visibility as it has a larger face. Underneath that, obviously you have that tracer LED with this dome-shaped lens on it, which really kind of peeks out and helps illuminate everything underneath you. So a very unique combination, something we haven't really seen with a lot of other brands yet. You have an illuminated power button on top. This indicates the battery status, so as with all the Seemee lights, you simply press it and illuminate green, red, or flashing red to indicate the status. The bottom you have, again, that tracer LED. You can actually see the LED underneath it with this dome shape to help distribute the light. You have the same micro USB charging port on the rear. It's a little disappointing not to see USB Type-C here, especially being a version 2, but we do expect the Seemee to eventually become all USB Type-C, as a lot of other Magicshine lights are. You have a miniaturized Garmin style quarter turn mount. So it's 2 tabs. They go into corresponding slots on the mount. You rotate and it locks into place. So really effective and easy. So if you're a commuter, you can easily just pop this off, put it in your pocket when you're parking the bike, and then put it back on. In terms of the user interface, this is what they've improved with the version 2. So it's the same interactions as the rest of the Seemee products, except you just have less modes. So instead of 8, which your previous one had, now you have 5. Long press to turn it on. And then you can see you can cycle through the 5 available modes, which includes a smart mode that automatically adapts to the environment around you. Although you can't really see them, there's 2 sensors in here. There's an ambient light sensor somewhere on the side, and this determines how bright it is outside. So if you're in a dimmer condition, it will turn on the bottom taillights, and if it's brighter, it'll actually turn it off. So automatically controls that. There is no control for the bottom LED. It's automatically on, and the opposite of the top mode when it is on. You also saw the brake sensor here, so it goes in the full 200 lumen mode when it detects braking, which you can kind of fake here just by moving it around. The modes are also really simple to use, so simply click through them multi-battery status indicator by clicking on it when it's off. And you can also see when you first turn it on, it turns blue. So that indicates the brake sensor is on, and it gives you a visual reminder. You can turn off the brake sensor as well. You simply hold the light and it should flash. So now when I turn it on, you can see it should just go green instead of the blue. So nice simple design and very easy to control. With the Seemee 200 version 2, you have 5 different modes to choose from, 2 constant modes, and then 3 different flash options. The tracer LED automatically turns on at night, so you can see the nighttime mode on the right and daytime on the left. And it's a nice feature, so it'll automatically flash when you're in a constant mode. And if you're in a flash mode, the bottom tracer LED will go constant. There's no way to control that tracer LED independently, and it's always on at night only. But as you can see, there's quite a few modes to choose from, and runtimes are pretty generous. Smart mode is my favorite. It automatically switches between daytime flash, which gives you a bright 200 lumen flash, and a nighttime flash, which is a lot more subtle and less annoying for riders behind you. On the road, the taillight is really nice and bright. The rectangular design is a lot like the Bontrager and has a very focused center LED that gives you good visibility from long distance away. You also have that brake sensor, which automatically triggers if it detects deceleration. Again, it doesn't know when you're actually doing the brake sensor. It's based on the actual accelerometer on the inside. And it works fairly well. You can see here if we come to a stop, it will actually go full brightness, and then it tapers off slightly. It's hard to tell on camera, even in person, but it does a good job to attract your attention. Now, the brake sensor isn't perfect, as with all the Magicshine Seemee lights. There are false positives, and it really does drain the battery, so if you're doing multi-hour rides, I always recommend turning the feature off. It's a cool feature, but until there's more of a uniform implementation, I think it's kind of hit or miss and a little bit more of a gimmick, as riders or drivers won't really recognize that you're slowing down just by the change in the light. But it does work well, and it's a very bright taillight. Now let's compare the Seemee 200 V2 with other taillights on the market. Magicshine has recently released the Seemee 150. Very similar design. You can see it's almost identical. They simply removed the tracer LED on the bottom from the Seemee 200 and reduced the output down to 150. So a little more affordable, has the same features, almost identical interface, check the battery, cycle through it, just don't have the tracer. Flare RT is a very popular taillight, so very similar design. Single LED instead of the cob strip. And you can see it's very bright, especially from direct visibility. From the side, it's not quite as bright, although you do have these transparent windows that are more visible in the nighttime. What's great about the Bontrager light is that it's more compact and it has Bluetooth connectivity to GPS units, so you can actually control and view the battery status with compatible GPS units. So kind of a cool feature that Magicshine does not currently have. The Planet Bike Rojo is also an interesting light. You can see more traditional design with the big plastic transparent body. Dual LED, so it's very bright and focused. So it has a nice combination of value and a lot of mounts right out of the box. So you actually have the body clip, you have a rack mount. Everything's included, you don't have to pay extra, which is nice, but no additional smart features with this. It's just a basic taillight. The Night Rider Bullet 200 is a very interesting taillight. Has almost a mushroom shape, and you can see dual LEDs, front and rear. This looks really cool on the bike as it has almost 360-degree visibility. And at 200 lumens, it's the same output as the Magicshine. But you can see a lot bulkier. It doesn't look quite as good on the bike, but does keep you visible. Also, it doesn't not have the brake sensor. The Helix Sense for Moon Sport is a new set of taillights we've also recently reviewed. You can see very bright. They have a 450 and a 300 version. We have both here. These actually have brake sensor, variable lumen system as well. So you can actually customize the lumen output for every single mode independent of one another. You can turn off the brake sensor. So quite a few features. So similar to the Magicshine, more expensive than the Magicshine. Magicshine is, again, one of the best values on the market just for the lumen output. Moon Sport also has the Cerberus, and you can see just a different form factor. So it really depends on what you're looking for. This has a triple LED design, so cob LEDs on the side and on the front. So great side visibility. So as far as what to purchase, really depends on what you're looking for. In terms of value, the Seemee product line is really good, and you get a lot of smart features, and it's hard to beat at that price point. But if you want different form factors, there's obviously a lot of options on the market So if you want taller and sleeker, you can get that so it would hide behind there, or more obvious, like the Bullet. But with the Seemee 200, there's really unmatched as far as the tracer LED feature. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Seemee 200 V2. What we like about it is that as a tracer LED, it's a very unique design you don't see with a lot of taillights. The smart mode also automatically detects daytime and nighttime, and is a really nice mode to use. You just set it and forget it, and it'll automatically choose the right mode for you. We also always appreciate the multi-level battery status indicator that Magicshine has added to all the Seemee taillights, which lets you actually check the taillight status before you start riding. Some of the cons is that the taillight still uses micro USB port, even though a lot of Magicshine products have gone to USB Type-C. Also, the tracer LED cannot be controlled separately. It's automatically on at night, and there's nothing you can do about that. And finally, the brake sensor leads to erratic run times. Because it goes to the full 200 lumen mode, if you get a lot of false positives, it can really run it down. So for longer rides, we always recommend just turning it off to ensure you have a taillight through the entire ride. Taking everything into account, we'd give the Seemee 200 V2 a 9.3 out of 10. It's brighter and easier to use with a more intuitive user interface. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.